Greetings, my friends. Welcome to this edition of Art and Coffee, the video series dedicated to helping you find and forge your own unique voice in the realms of art and visual storytelling. Thank you so much for clicking, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for allowing me to keep you company at the drawing board today. Today's coffee is the Big Trouble blend from Counterculture Coffee Roasters. Big Trouble offers the nutty, caramel, and chocolate flavors that many people know and love, while attaining such an approachable profile might seem like an easy task. But Big Trouble is one of the most challenging year-round products for us to source due to the quality and seasonality of the coffees with these characteristics. Not my favorite, but it's extremely good, and I tell you what, it may not be my favorite, but I make coffee for my wife every morning before she goes to work, and she texted special this morning to let me know, like I pour coffee in a thermos, she texted special to let me know, hey, this coffee is amazing. So, there you go. It's got my, my modest recommendation, but my wife's resounding recommendation. So, Counterculture Coffee, the Big Trouble blend. Alright, enough about the coffee. Let's get into today's topic. So, I don't know what clickbaity title I'm going to come up for with this, but what today's topic boils down to is when is the ideal time to start your art? When is the time to start making the art that you want to make, the projects that you want to make? When do you start the comic that you've been thinking about maybe for years? So, as is my custom, answer right up front. Right now. Right now is the time to start. You may be going through some things. You may have a very busy life. In fact, your life may be the busiest, most hectic that it has ever been. No matter. The time to start is right now. And if you're waiting for a time where you are going to be better and good enough, stop waiting. That time will not come. If you're like most artists, you'll never look at your art and say, I'm good enough now, I'm great now. No. It'll always feel like good enough is just around the corner. It's far away. The time to start is now, and the skills to start with are the skills that you have in your hands right this second. Don't wait. Because life is short, and if you wait, you'll keep on waiting, and then you'll run out of time. Now, if you're listening to this and you're older, or you consider yourself to be older, start now. You're not out of time. This is something that I hear more than once from all kinds of different age groups, from kids in their early 20s to grown-ups who are in their mid-50s. Is it too late? No, it is not. And if you have an idea and you have a thing that you want to make, go ahead and start making it. Pull out your pencil and do it right now. If your life is extremely busy or extremely hectic, I can't tell you how to get started right now. All I can do is give you examples and tell you that you need to, that it must be, and it must be now. First example is a cartoonist, comic artist by the name of Terry Moore. He's the guy who made Strangers in Paradise. That was his real claim to fame. He's made several comics since then, like Rachel Rising and a couple of others. But Strangers in Paradise is where he made his bones, and he made it by creating a 4-issue story arc and submitting that to publishers, getting picked up by Antarctic, and from there he started self-publishing with his own imprint called Abstract Studios, and away went his career. Now, he started by drawing in the late evenings at his kitchen table, because all he had was pencil and paper and a kitchen table. And the only time of the day, being a father, being a husband, having a day job, the only time that he could get his stuff done was late at night. Now, there's another example, an illustrator named David Litchfield, who made a TED Talk about this specific topic, making the time to be an artist. His talk was incredible, and his solution was to wake up extra early in the morning and just move his pencil around and draw something every day, usually in the neighborhood of 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. That's it, just 30 minutes every day to move his pencil. And he did that every day and made a finished drawing every day. And again, you get to decide what finished means. He decided, and he made his finished drawings, and now he has a career as an illustrator. He wasn't an illustrator before. He was a guy who maybe liked to doodle once in a while, and he just made the decision, I'm going to make the time to make some art. I highly recommend you check out his TED Talk. It's a TEDx talk, David Litchfield. If I remember in post-production, I'll try and drop a link to his talk in the description. But if I can't, and you want to pause this and go check him out, do it. David Litchfield, Litchfield. Also, fun fact about this particular guy. I like to go to libraries and bookstores and go through the kids' book sections to see what kind of illustrations are getting made now and see if I could find some cool ones. And I found a really cute one called The Bear and the Piano, and it's just one of the most adorable, well-drawn. It really spoke to me, just on spec, just see the cover, flip through it, looked beautiful, read the story. It was so much fun, and I loved it so much. As I was researching this episode, that's him. David Litchfield just started drawing at his kitchen table early in the morning in like 2012, 2011, somewhere in there. And now, years later, he's made gorgeous kids' books that I really love. So that's a success story. My last example of making the time. I started making my comics in earnest while I was still in school. I was a newlywed, more or less. Well, we'd been married for a year and some change, and we were talking about having a child. I was double majoring. I had 2 or 3 different jobs. I had 4 jobs at one point, so I was extremely busy. But I was just so sick to the teeth of thinking to myself, when do I get to start my life? And so one day I just went to the art store, dropped a little bit of money to get Bristol board and one of those pre-made sets of pen and ink nibs. And pro tip, the pre-made art sets are usually not what you want to get for yourself or for somebody in your life who is thinking about being an artist. You want to get a small bit of hand-selected tools. You don't want to get one of those pre-packaged sets. Not usually. But I was just like, I don't have time to think about exactly what I want because that's some self-sabotage. That's analysis by paralysis. So I'm going to just buy this cheap little set here that already comes with some ink, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to draw a comic. And the best I could do at that time was 1 page a week. But that was a start. I had started. And let me tell you, mentally, psychologically, it was a game changer because overnight I stopped being just another student at my school or just another schlub at my work or at one of the jobs that I was working. And inside of my mind, it's like, I have started. I am a comic artist. I am making comics. And they were not the best, but they were the best I could do at the time. And I was learning every day. And I knew that I was learning every day. And sometimes I could not finish a whole page in a week, but that's okay because I knew I will finish this page. Sometimes I would make short strips, just 3 panels. 3 panels in a week. I can do that. And as I got better, as I got faster, as I got used to cognitively making it a priority, things started to come together a lot easier. So the time to start the art that you want to make is right now, no matter what position you're in your life. Just any old paper, any old pencil, any tools that you can get your hands on. There is a quote that I want you to internalize because it's extremely helpful anytime you think, I'm not ready. The quote is, you go to war with the army you have, not the army you want. This quote is attributed to, if I'm not mistaken, Donald Rumsfeld, who was a Secretary of Defense during the first or second Bush, probably both Bush administrations. And the time that he said this was a famous moment because a soldier who was a combat soldier was taking him to task for their supply being so terrible. And this sentence was uttered as a kind of a cop-out answer. And what's more, I definitely don't think that war makes a great metaphor for everything. But the words on its own are very instructive because war or struggle a total struggle that is life and death, that is really hard, you would think the human endeavor in which you pull out all of the stops and make things as efficient as you can, and you try as hard as you can. Even that is, we're not ready. We have what we have, and we're gonna do what we can because there's no choice. And that idea, you have what you have, and this time is coming and you have no choice, is more or less also the point that I'm trying to deliver to you. Because if you have in your mind and your heart that you want to make art, or you've got the story that you want to tell, or you've got these images or this way that you see the world that you want to share, that means that the time you've got something super pressing that you can't help. And the time to make that happen is now. And the only tools you've got are the tools that you've got. And I want you to understand. I want you to know. I want you to realize, and I want you to internalize. What you got right now, whatever it is, it's okay. You're all right. You've got what it takes. You've absolutely got what it takes. So, I want you to think. Assess the tools that you have in your belt, not just the art supplies that you may already own, which that's a good assessment. Also, the time that you have in the day, the comfortable places that you have to draw, or places you know you can go to, places like coffee shops, or maybe at your desk, at school or at home, your kitchen table, your kitchen counter standing up if needs be. But also the tools that you have in terms of your skills, in terms of like what you're good at drawing, what you like to draw. Also your skill in terms of the way that you observe, how your observations help you, and how they can help you tell the story that's already inside of you, that's already taking shape in some form or another. Now here's a trick. If you are a rank beginner, and you think you're making your self-assessment, you're thinking, I don't have tools. I have this, I have no tools. I have no paper, I have no pencil, I have no erasers, and I've got no skills and no prior experience. Don't worry. Because number one, you do have private experience, personal experience, because in kindergarten, we all got our hands on some crayons somehow. We all know how to move a mark-making implement. In terms of tools, my pencils and my erasers come from the grocery store or the drugstore. You've got a grocery store, drugstore near you, just grab something and go. My paper, you can get at any arts or crafts store. Or you could get it at any print shop. I get my paper from like an Office Max or a Staples. I just get the nice smooth cardstock, and it's cheaper than Bristol board, but if you want to do Bristol, by all means do it. And if you just want to draw in your sketchbook, that's fine too. That counts. Whatever paper you've got, that works. What it boils down to is you've got what you got, and whatever you've got is okay. I knew a comic artist. His name was Matt Milby. He doesn't make comics anymore. He did for a while, and they were great. But what he had was an El Cheapo sketch pad from the grocery store and ballpoint Bic pens. And he made his comics with those, and I loved them. And I read every update he made in the middle 2000s, and it was glorious, and I loved every second of it. And it's just the cheapest sketch pad he could find while he was getting groceries, and the cheapest ballpoint pens that he could find. His comics were terrific, and I loved them. And I loved them because of the sensibility he brought to it, and because of the effort he put into it. And I loved watching him improve as an artist with these tools. He had what he had, and he went for it. Art Spiegelman, the artist of the famous graphic novel series Moss, or Mouse, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's about his father being a Holocaust survivor. Like, think about that. It's a metaphorical, literal, biographical story of a Holocaust survivor. He made the first book of that on with a fountain pen and typing paper, just because he had those. And it's one of the most famous, enduring graphic novels. One of the first things to be called a graphic novel that we have. He was not a good draftsman. He was not a good artist. But he had what he had, and he had a story he wanted to tell. And he took what he had, and he told the story. And he made something valuable and put it into the world. Now, when you're assessing the things that you have, and we're talking about your skills as an artist, your experience as an artist, and you think to yourself, what if I don't have any experience? What if I don't have any skills? What if I don't have any strengths in this department? You're wrong. You do. You have them. Your enthusiasm, your creativity, and your will to do the work, that is your strength. It doesn't matter how ordinary of a schlub you think you are. You have a unique perspective and a unique way to tell a story. Some are more unique than others, and that's fine. But the story, the style, the perspective, and the sensibilities that you have, those are yours. And by doing the work and starting now, you'll develop them more. Your enthusiasm, your creativity, your will to do the work, that is your strength. And that is the ultimate strength, because that is the foundation upon which all of the other artistic strengths are built. That's where skills come from, and that's where experience comes from. And the other reason you need to start now, right now, is because the sooner you start, the more experience you'll accumulate. The sooner you'll start accumulating that artistic experience. The next 5 years are going to go by, whether you're drawing or not. And you can make a decision so that those 5 years, or some portion of those 5 years, are spent as an artist. And then after they've passed by, you've got that experience. Versus you don't start now, you wait. The years go by. And then you're the same as you were 5 years ago. Your take on the world, your perspective may have changed as you grow and get older, and as you take in more art, more movies, more books, more comics, more music. But your actual skill and experience as an artist, as a practicing artist, you'll be the same person 5 years from now if you don't start. So start now. Start building that experience right now, because the years will go by, whether you do it or not. And those years can go by piling up your experience, or they can go by and leave you the same person. Leave you the same person who says they want to be an artist, or another person who has a great idea. And I want to talk about your great idea for a second. Here's the trick. I cannot tell you, at so many different Comic Cons, I met older people who came up to my table and talked about, I used to draw, or I wish I could be an artist. And what I don't have the time to tell them anymore is, you can be an artist right now. Just grab a sheet of paper and start moving your pencil. Or the amount of people who wistfully say, I used to draw, I wish I kept it up. And the most frustrating of all are the people who come up and say, I have this great idea, this one great idea for this killer epic story. And I'm not good enough yet to tell that story. This is self-sabotage. This is another art killer. This is a thing that's holding you back. The one-nightist. I have this one story and it's the one. No, friends, absolutely not. Good ideas are not finite. You don't run out of good ideas. You'll run out of energy, or you could run out of enthusiasm, or you can run out of interest. Those happen. And there's ways to keep it from happening, but you do not run out of ideas. No human being runs out of ideas. And the one idea that you're holding on to, if you've never made anything before, you never made your own comics, you never wrote your own novel, you never made your own illustrations, your own painting, sculpture, what have you, chances are that one idea, it's not that good, because it's the first idea that you have. And remember, because you hold on to it, you don't allow yourself to have more. And remember, art is a numbers game. Make as many finished works as you can, because the more finished works you make, the better you get. And the more finished works you make, the more chances you have of some of your work really connecting with people. And the more works you make, the more beauty and value and love you put into the world. And there's a chance that some, most of, or all of what you put in the world will last in some form or another, and affect people who you never know, never will know, and may not even be born yet. And that is intensely value. That is value that compounds and becomes more value as the year passes by. But having that one story that you're gonna make someday, no, that's self-sabotage. It's probably not as great an idea as you think it is. What it is a source of enthusiasm and the idea that you may one day have what it takes to be a great artist or writer or storyteller someday, maybe, when I get the right tools, or when I get the right experience, or when I get good enough, or when all of the stars align. No. The stars will never align. You will never be, quote unquote, good enough. It will never be an ideal time to make the story that's inside of you that you have to get out. But the trade-off is, the difference is, you are already the ideal person to tell the story. Because it's already in you. It's already yours. It belongs to you. You've come up with it. And therefore, you're the only one who can tell that story. So you may not always have the most ideal skills for the task in front of you, and you will not have the most ideal times for the task in front of you, and you will not always have the ideal mindset or motivational or emotional landscape, but you will always be the ideal person to tell your story, because nobody else can tell it for you. So if you've got that one story, this one epic, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be great. Now, you can either attack that epic right now, or you can put it to the side and come up with something short, something easy. Like if you're starting from zero, I highly recommend starting small. Tell comics, like we're going to, speaking of comics specifically, start with a strip. Just put 2 panels together or 3 panels together, and then graduate to 4, and then graduate to 5. And then if strips are not where you want to live forever, that's cool, me neither. That's when you graduate to full page and a 2-page short, a 3-page short, and eventually you get up to like your 12 pages or your 24-page one-shots. And from there, you may look back at your one great epic story that you think is just a killer idea. And now that you've got some experience and you know the effort that goes into it, then you'll have the mental capacity, the mental maturity as an artist to know, all right, I've got it. The time is now. Or you may have grown as an artist and a storyteller, and this is true for me, this happened to me twice. You'll look back at this great, incredible epic that you thought was just so amazing, and now with the new maturity you have that as a practicing artist where previously you were not, you'll look at that one great epic and be like, it's actually not that good. I've got a whole bunch of other ideas that spawned from the shorter works that I did that I'm excited about. And this one great epic that I was planning for so long, that's not the business anymore. And if that happens to you, that's fine. That's good. That means you're growing, and that means that you started and that you're keeping on. And I want you to know it happened to me, and it happened to me twice. Had 2 great grand epic ideas, both of which by the time I got some experience, realized that they would be terrible. And that's okay. By moving on and writing new stories, I became a better artist and did things that are more valuable to me and have stayed valuable to me even years after I've created them. And I frankly wish the same thing on you. So you've got 2 ways of going about this. If you've got that one great epic that just, you can't wait to tell it, you know what? Pull out your pencil. Start right now. Start telling it. Or you go the other way and work your way up to the epic by telling shorter works and building some experience. I personally recommend the shorter works first, but the most important thing is that you start doing a thing now. And the thing doesn't have to be grand. You can start the way Litchfield started. 30 minutes a day, a finished drawing a day, and all I did was put it on Instagram. That's it. Made a thing, put it on Instagram, #art, done. And not getting a certain amount of likes or messages or views on any given one, that doesn't matter, because tomorrow's another day and you're making another one tomorrow. And that's where your focus needs to be. And if you can start making the art now, that's where you can put your focus. So let's sum up. You make the art with the tools that you have right now, the internal and external tools that you have right now. You do not make art with the tools that you wish you had. And if you've got an idea or a desire to make art or tell a story, then that means you're the ideal person to make that art and to tell that story. But there will never be an ideal time, and you will never have the ideal skills. Therefore, the time to start your art is right now, this instant. And the skills that you want, you'll build over time. And the sooner you start, the sooner you'll start building those skills. Thanks so much for listening. I wish all the best for you. Speaking completely selfishly, one of the reasons I make this video, and one of the reasons I'm telling you personally to start now, is because I want to read your comics. I want to see your art. You know, we live in a time and a place where art and storytelling in comics is more prevalent than it's ever been, yet I remain starving for more. And there's tons of people like me. So selfishly, please, start right now. Start making your things so that down the line, I can see it. I can read it. And you put more love and joy into the world. And I get to enjoy that too. And, speaking also selfishly, my daughter gets to enjoy it as well. David Litchfield started his art in 2012, 2013. Now, years later, he made one of my favorite kids' books for the past 5 years. That could be you too. You could make somebody's favorite. But you can't if you don't start. And the best time to start is right now. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me keep you company. And I hope you got some good drawing done while you were listening to this. And I can't wait to spend more time with you again in the future. But in the meantime, until we meet again, please take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and make art. And make that art right now.